And welcome back, everybody, to our predictions of Match Day 16. I want to welcome you guys back here for another beautiful week. Once again, I have my partner in crime, Matt. Matt, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
It's awesome to hear. You know what, Matt? Let's get right into the games this week. First game of the week is going to be the Man City Brentford game. Matt, what do you got? Something about it.
All right, so this is the early game. Historically, I remember City plays pretty well in the early morning games.
Okay.
I've definitely woken up a lot of times seeing them batter Burnley or Norwich or somebody 4 or 5, 6 goals. Brentford has not been too hot lately. This is at the Etihad. I think it's going to be City 4-1. I think they get one. I think that's going to be their thing. They're going to get one at one point, but it's not going to be enough. I think City takes it pretty easily. Yeah,
I'm taking what happened last week and kind of pushing it to the side. That was the first game of the week. Last week too was the early game, and it was against a team that they should have beaten, and they didn't. They didn't play as well as they did, but they didn't have Haaland. Now they got Haaland. They're going to bring him back. I have it as a 3-0 win for Man City. I don't see any other thing happening for that one. On to the next game, Liverpool versus Southampton. Met. What do you got? This one's at 10 a.m.
Okay, quick storylines in this game. Southampton, new coach. Maybe he's still adjusting to the squad. Maybe they're going to get a boost because of him. It's a weird phenomenon where teams generally play really well first game with a new coach.
Yep.
I don't know why. I think they are going to get a boost, but I think they're playing at Anfield. Liverpool is trying to take back their spot on the table.
Yeah.
And they just came off beating Spurs. I think Liverpool wins it barely. I think they put a good fight in. I think it's 2-1 Liverpool.
Wow, 2-1. Okay. I think I agree with you on that one. It just happened last week with the coaching. I also agree with they're going to be at home. They play huge. It is a 10 a.m. game, which could slip up a little bit for Liverpool. Liverpool doesn't play well usually, at least this season, on games that are kind of like, you know, bad teams or teams that they should beat, and it's the middle of the day type of thing. But I do have them getting a first goal in the first half, Southampton scoring, and then Liverpool scoring too. So I have it as a 3-1 win for Liverpool at home. Okay. On to the next game, Bournemouth versus Everton. Matt, what do you say?
All right, so Bournemouth has shown us in the last few weeks that they can score goals. It doesn't matter against who, even against Jordan Pickford even, I think. So I think it's going to be a similar recipe. Okay. They're going to score first, but they're going to struggle defending. I think this time they won't lose. I'm predicting it to be a 2-2 game. Bournemouth goes up, maybe slips a bit, either goes behind or is tied, and it ends 2-2.
Okay. I kind of am with you also on that. I think Bournemouth, after last week, now they know they can score. Some new stat that you may not know, but Bournemouth has a brand new owner. It's an American, another American coming in to take over the English team. But Bournemouth now has a new owner. They play well now. They play great. I think the boost there is going to help them. Everton, they're slipping. This is their portion where they start slipping back down again. Frank Lampard is hurting again, and he's going to play like, oh, I'm just going to get a draw, or we'll get a win, don't worry, but Bournemouth's way too good. I think Bournemouth's going to score 3 in this game. It's going to be a 3-1. Pickford's going to get hurt. Like, he's not going to get injured, but he's going to get hurt this game. It's going to rattle him for the World Cup, and the United States is going to step up and win because of it. So this is the game that helps the United States out. That's just what I think.
Always the United States angle, hey?
I have to. On to the next game, West Ham versus Leicester City. Matt, what do you got?
All right. So I think Leicester has found their form. I think they're finally playing like the team that they could have been from the start of the year. They have a lot of really good players. They're finally playing together. West Ham is doing well in Europe, but has been struggling to beat the teams that are around their level. And I think they're going to continue to struggle. I think this is going to be a pretty low event game. just because of the nature of these two teams.
Okay.
They both can play pretty solid defensively, but I think Leicester gets 1 goal and they win 1-0.
Wow. I agree with you with it's going to be a win for Leicester City. But honestly, other than I would even say Newcastle, who's scoring like crazy. It's like Man City, Newcastle. I would even say Leicester City. They're scoring a lot. Ever since the Nottingham Forest game, they've scored, I believe, an average of 3 goals a game. I mean, they're dominant. Madison's going to come in and he's going to show why he was picked for the World Cup. Also, watch that video. It's right here. Thank you. Why he was picked on that, and so they're gonna win the game 3-1, even though it is in West Ham's building. And I do agree with every single word that you say about that. But it's gonna be a 3-1 win for Leicester City on that game. On to the next game, Tottenham versus Leeds United. Matt, what do you got?
So this might be a bold prediction, but I'm throwing it out there anyway. I think Leeds are going to be picking up some momentum. They just beat Liverpool and Bournemouth. They've had back-to-back wins, which is huge for them. They were struggling. They didn't know what they were doing. They had lost a lot of games, but they got some mojo back. This is the last game before the World Cup.
Yep.
They want to end it on a high note. I think Spurs are going to go up in this game, and that's when they fall apart. I think they're going to struggle to keep that lead against Leeds, and Leeds is going to take the lead after that from them and win 2-1.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think, here's the thing. Last week we had a 2-1 where Liverpool was going to win, and I said Tottenham's going to win 2-1. So we had the same thing inverted. I agree with you this week exactly the same way, but again, inverted. I think Tottenham's going to win it 2-1. I think this one is going to be one of those games where Tottenham takes the lead, Leeds then takes the draw, or takes the draw, and then something stupid happens where they don't cover Harry Kane and a header goes in the net, because that's just what he does. But yeah, that's what I feel. I think if Leeds were to score first, though, yeah, you're right, Matt. If Leeds takes a lead at all in this game, you are correct. That's just my feelings on it. Okay. On to the next game. We have Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace. This could be a game. I think Matt and I would be kind of on the boat in different feels of it. Matt, what do you think?
I think you're right. It's been tough to predict both these teams this year, as they both picked up results against teams perceived to be better than them and dropped points against teams that are supposed to be near the bottom. I think Crystal Palace is desperate for points.
Yeah.
And I think they've finally tasted victory, and I think it feels good. And I think they're going to start to find some form back. They've had a lot of bad luck this year. The game against Arsenal, even against Liverpool where there was the card and they drew, I think they could have got more points out of a lot of the games that they've been in. Yeah. I think they're going to win this game 3-1. I think Forest still scores, but I think Palace is going to start finding the goal. Zaha is going to score. I think Eze or Edouard is going to score as well.
Okay.
And it's going to be 3-1.
So I agree with you. I think this game could be the toss-up. Is Nottingham going to play like they do against Liverpool, or are they going to play like they do against Bournemouth? You don't know what type of Nottingham team you're going to play with. Same thing with Crystal Palace. Are you going to get a team that they're going to play against like Chelsea, or are you going to get the Crystal Palace game where they're going to play against Wolves? You don't know. But I think after a big game last week, Zaha's going to kind of be like, good, I scored a goal, get that off my shoulder, I feel kind of good. I think Crystal Palace is going to win it, and then I do believe it's going to be a 2-1 win. It's going to be a lot closer. It's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think, but it'll be a 2-1 win. I'm going to skip the next game that's on the screen right now, because I want to give us both, because this is both of our teams. Maybe not his team anymore, but it's still both of our teams. So we're going to move on to Wolves versus Arsenal. This will give us a chance to, if we need more time at the end of the video, we could talk more. So Wolves versus Arsenal. Matt, go ahead.
Okay, so Wolves, pretty horrible form. They've spiked up a bit, I think, last week. They showed some life against Brighton, but Arsenal is hungry. They want to stay at the top of the table. They have shown that they can score goals and that they can play defense. Yeah. And Wolves has shown that they can struggle to score goals and struggle to play defense. Yeah. For that reason, I think the poorer version of Wolves shows up and the better version of Arsenal shows up, and it's 4-0 Arsenal.
Okay. So I agree with you. I think Wolves, here's the thing, Wolves have an average of scoring 1 goal or less a game. I think that was the first time they'd scored 2 goals or more at all this season. So they got to try to average their average out. So it's going to be 0, of course, for them. I have 0. Arsenal's strong against bad teams. Unless the rain steps in, I don't think Arsenal kind of want to show that they still have a dominance on the division. Try to get a little bit higher up into the league too. So I also have it as a 4-0.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll think about what the thing is afterwards. On to the next game, Brighton versus Aston Villa. Matt, what do you think?
All right. So this is a really interesting matchup. I think both of these teams are trending upwards. Both these teams have hired a new manager within the last month or two.
Yeah.
Aston Villa being before their most previous game, which they won. He's won every game that he's managed the team. But I think also that will eventually come to an end. And I think it comes to an end this week. I think Brighton will look at the game that they played last week and the difficulties they had, the mistakes that they made against Wolves, and I think they'll improve on them.
Okay.
This game's at the Amex. They're going to have the boost of the crowd. I think they win it 3-2. I think Villa gives them a good run for their money, but ultimately they take it. I think Trossard's going to score again. Brighton, yes.
Okay, so Brighton 3-2. I think coming off a huge win against Man U also, yeah, that's gonna give them a big boost. But you're having Brighton, who's one of the best offensive teams coming out of the block. They went from I'm going to get a draw 1-1 to guess what, we're scoring a lot. And I think Aston Villa can't handle that. They're not going to be able to handle a team like that can actually score goals and actually play like that. But I also have the game as 3-2. It's I know it's weird. I also have a Brighton win 3-2. So that's another game that we're gonna have to talk about afterwards on that. But yeah, it's gonna be a Brighton win 3-2. Lots of goals, lots of offense, lots of shots. Maybe not shots on net, but lots of shots. Period. On to the next game. Fulham versus Man United. Matt, what do you think?
Okay, I might get a lot of flack for this. And if you cheer for Man United, feel free to give it to me. But I'm predicting them to lose this week. Not just because I don't necessarily like Man United, but I think Fulham has been in the top half most of the season. They've shown consistencies. They've shown that they're better than a newly promoted side usually is. They won the championship last year.
Okay.
Pretty convincingly.
Yep.
And they've taken some results from big teams this year. Mm-hmm. They were pretty close to drawing Man City last week.
Yep.
And so for that reason, at home at the Craven Cottage, I'm picking them to win 2-0.
Wow.
I don't know if Mitrovic is fit. He didn't start last game, but if he is fit and if he plays, I think he scores.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna see what everybody thinks. Everybody thinks it's Man U gonna win 52% to 24%.
I know.
Fulham. So I was like, that's a big wow. I also have Fulham winning it though.
Okay.
I was thinking about how they played last week, how they played not only last week, but how they played against Liverpool. They scored goals against Liverpool. I don't care how good Liverpool can win. They played well against Liverpool, well against Manchester United. They played well against Newcastle until the red card happened. Honestly, they did. It was still 0-0 until the 26th minute, and then the red card happened. So they actually are a pretty good team that I think a lot of people won't see that well. So I have them as a 2-1 win though. Man U is going to score. It's going to be their big time. I believe he's Brazilian, but their new player,
Anthony.
Yeah, he's gonna score a goal on that. But I think that. And onto the big game that Matt and I were talking about. I know it's only because Matt and I both love this team love our team so very much. Well, maybe Matt doesn't love his team so much now, but big team. It's a 12:30 game in Newcastle, St. James's Park. You don't come to the Fortress and beat it up. You have Newcastle up 42% to Chelsea 30%. Matt, I'm going to give you the first swing at this. Go ahead, bud.
Okay. Historically, Newcastle away has been one of the worst fixtures for Chelsea, period.
Yep.
They've done pretty well in the last few years, but the first few years that I was cheering for them, they would struggle consistently. Even when Newcastle were in the bottom third of the table,
I agree.
They would struggle Newcastle away. And now Newcastle is a pretty strong team. So it's going to be even harder. I think Chelsea is struggling with form domestically. It's weird because in the Premier League, they're kind of around where Liverpool is, and they both won their Champions League groups.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they don't win, which is a big deal because they haven't lost 3 consecutive league games since November of 2015 under Jose Mourinho. That was the year before I started following the team. I've never seen Chelsea lose 3 league games in a row. For the record, I don't know right now if Chelsea's even my team. I'm watching games, but I'm pretty disappointed with the ownership at the moment, but that's a story for another day. I think they lose, though. My prediction is 2-0 Newcastle.
2-0, okay. I think for this game, I think Eddie Howe is going to put out a system, the exact system he put out against Tottenham. They play similarly with each other. Chelsea and Tottenham do, and Newcastle's going to get out there, and Newcastle's going to rout them and score and score and score as many times as they possibly can. But Chelsea is a very good defensive team. But I think what's going to happen is Chelsea is a team that gets in position to score, and they hit post, or they make bad plays, or something happens where they just do something stupid. And some games they get lucky where they score in the 90th minute, like Crystal Palace, or against
That was a great
Arsenal.
goal.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I'm thinking. They should be leading that game, And you can't do that against Newcastle. Newcastle does not let goals in. Newcastle's way too good defensively. It ain't gonna happen. I will think Newcastle. I think the best time for Chelsea is to score or try to score early. That's when Newcastle's the worst. Is coming out the first 15-20 minutes of the game, and then coming right out of the halftime. We're seeing best time 30th minute, as always. Watch another 30-minute goal. That's what's going to happen. But I have Newcastle winning this game 3-1. You don't come to St. James's Park. The only reason there's going to be a 1 goal is I seriously think there's going to be like a set piece goal,
or like a penalty maybe,
or it's going to be a penalty or something. It's going to be something stupid. Yeah, it's going to be something stupid that's going to happen that's going to score. If anything, it's going to be 2 things: either a penalty or it's going to be like the 89th, 90th minute. You will see most of the majority of goals that are scored against Newcastle is the end of the game. Even the good teams. Brighton it was.
Liverpool.
Liverpool, yes, Liverpool it was. Last week in Southampton, 89th minute. So yeah, that's where I'm thinking that's going to be the big thing. But I do think it's going to be a win. I do think a 3-1 win. Now on to our extra predictions, because we had to go to Arsenal 4-0. Matt, what's your extra point prediction?
All right. So in this game, I'm predicting 2 players with a brace for Arsenal. That's my prediction.
Brace, what does that mean?
2 different guys score 2 goals.
Ooh,
which
okay.
means that, it can't be 1-1 and 2, and it can't be 3 and 1.
Yep.
And an own goal doesn't even, then it throws it out of the window. So 2 different players. I don't have to name them, I don't think.
Okay.
2 goals each.
I will give, if that happens, I'll give you 4. I'll give you 4 points for it.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 different players.
What's yours?
Because there's a reason. I want 4 points for Jesus. Has to be 2 goals. So
okay,
Jesus
exactly 2.
He has to score 2. Yes, he has to.
Not 3 and not 1.
What? He scored at least.
At least 2 or exactly 2?
He has to score at least 2. Well, give me at least. All right, I'll do exact, because that'll give
Okay,
me
5 points if he scores exactly 2.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah, I'll do 5. All right, that'll work. Okay. And then for the Brighton Aston Villa game, Matt, what do you got?
All right. I think there's going to be 2 penalties scored in this game. That's my prediction.
Wow, that's a heavy one. Okay, 2 penalties. I'm giving you 5 points for that one. It is very rare for 2 penalties to be scored.
There was one last week, the City and Fulham game. There were 2 penalties in that one. So
yeah, but you said they had to score too. Okay, but just 2 penalties. They had to score.
I didn't say 2 penalties scored.
I heard scored. Okay.
We'll say 2 scored. Sure.
All right. There we go. I have it as, you can tell me how many points I get for this one. Gross has to score in the 70th. Gross is going to score in the 75th minute or later. Okay. That's just how it has to be.
Which, just to clarify, 74:01 counts as the 75th minute and later, basically.
Yes. 75th minute. Yep.
If it says on the stat sheet 75 or higher.
Yeah, that's how.
Counts.
Yep. How many points? How many points would that be?
I'd say that's 4 points.
Just 4 points. Okay. All right, folks. Well, that'll be the video for today. Yeah, we got a short one for you. So, Matt and I wanna play this. Get you guys a quick little videos for you. We're going to try to get these things in about 15 minutes, in and out. There's not much to say about these. We just have our predictions. We have a little feeling on it. This week it was a little bit longer because of Newcastle and then us having our ties like that. But thank you guys so much for the video watching. We really do appreciate that. We're trying to get better and better at the videos. And after this week, it'll be the World Cup, and I'm super excited about that. We have some upcoming videos that are going to be really exciting. Roster announcements. We already have the United States and England out already. And we'll have our predictions for the World Cup for next week. Thank you guys. Thank you, Matt.
Of course, thank you.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.